And so what I'm simply doing is I'm simply, again, providing a public service to let people know that there is more. But if you want to be adamant about you having the attitude that you already know more than life itself, because life will show you, if you simply do the New You sessions, it will show you that there is a bigger picture. But if you're adamant, thinking that you know more than life itself, or you already know, or you believe in something, because basically there's no such thing as belief. When you look at the sun, the idea does not exist. The sun is an isness. It represents the isness of life. We don't look to the sun. I'm just using this as an example. The isness of life is unseen, and it's a recognizable position, one that you recognize with your real awareness, not with your literal mind. So, as we have the ideas of astral projection, remote viewing, soul traveling, these things work in time and space creation, but just because the person has acquired these abilities does not mean they have accomplished the ultimate, because they only work in time and space. In reality, there is no movement. It's an isness. This is universal positioning. It is the completeness of the individual once they recognize this, but it's a lot of steps to do that. And even when a person does come into that point where they do start to recognize it, it's endless. There are endless steps to universal positioning in the real universes. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to see if somebody has a question, and then we'll kind of get more into the discussion here.
Someone's typing right now. Okay. Go ahead, Kelsey. What do you have?
Something that just came to me was the lucid dreaming must be like these ideas of astral projection and remote viewing. And something that I could ask here is, that's been mentioned before, there's the silver cord that can break with astral projection, and maybe that's not very safe. Is there something that maybe you could say, Duane?
Yeah, that's very good, Kelsey. Yes, the lucid dreaming is it's a lot of fun. That's where you're aware when you're out of your body and in basically the astral realm. And many times, for the most part, when people first start doing it, it's astral projection. And yes, you do have the silver cord. And yes, it can be cut if it's stretched or somebody interferes with you. And if it's cut, yeah, the physical body dies. Because with your 5 bodies, with the physical to the astral to the causal to the mental to the etheric body, you have these cords. They're like umbilical cords is what they are. You have this connection to these bodies, and these bodies can be projected out of sequence. And what astral projection is, it's simply an experience. It's a very valid experience. It's all fine. But what it does, too, is it also can puncture holes in your aura and allow negative influences in. I've known many people that have told me their experiences from astral projection, and at first it was fun, but after a while they started to get a lot of negative influences because it opens up the aura, which they don't see. And most people do not realize they have a protective aura around them, and it's just like infecting the body is what it's doing. And then you have these various influences that start to come in, and yes, if that cord there's a lot of, again, it's a jungle out there, and when you go in the other worlds, it's a jungle too. It becomes bigger, and you have a lot of predators out there. And so, yeah, this is where you learn, when you learn universal positioning, and Paul used the idea of soul traveling, that was moving your awareness through the various bodies, not projecting the bodies. And it was basically to give people the experience of that. That was the idea. Well, universal positioning supersedes that. And when you do the new you, especially when you remove your awareness from the physical body at night, let's say in the dream, instead of astral projecting, you have the real guidance there. The boys are there. The real universal guides are there to protect you, so that you're not bothered. And our friend Chris here had an experience with his friend Zaven, where she was influenced, and that was actually became a physical reality. And this entity tried to interrupt her life, and well, again, there was a shield around her, and he couldn't do it. That's because the boys were protecting her. But most people that do this, where they become involved, and I was going to say this too, thank you for bringing this up, the psychic sciences, and Paul talked about this too, and that is people that are into clairvoyance and these things, the psychic sciences and automatic writing and, many things like this. They're opening their aura up and they will start to get these negative influences if they don't have the protection of the new you and the real universal guides, because these entities are hanging around all the time, and these are the lower sciences. In other words, they're valid experiences. It's kind of like eating GMO food. Okay, it's food, you can eat it. It's edible. You can go to, the hamburger joints and have your GMO hamburger, and you're going to be okay for a while. But after a while, it's going to show up, because everything's cause and effect, as opposed to eating something natural and healthy for you that's going to have a long-term effect that's not going to bring you the side effects. So that becomes the difference. And these psychic sciences that many people are into look really good, the psychic and mind sciences. But the end result is that they're going to have to be dealing with the effects. Now, the effects may not come around in this lifetime, so it'll look like they're working okay. It's kind of like the healing on of hands that people do, these so-called great healers or whatever. Well, they don't realize that they're taking on a lot of karma, and after a while, you don't see them anymore. Even some of the ones that I've seen on TV, the TV evangelists or whatever, I'm amazed that some of them have lasted as long as they have, because they're taking on a lot of karma. And I've known people that have done these things, and they had all kinds of problems. So, yes, again, astral projection, and we do market that sometimes in a way to, get people's attention. But that is not the idea, simply because I don't recommend it. I recommend universal positioning, the overall, to where you can supersede reincarnation and karma altogether. But again, some people want to stay here. They want to be the effect of everything for more lifetimes. They have that right and that privilege. Astral projection, it is not the safest way to travel. It's kind of like, driving a car with 3 wheels. It is an experience. You can get down the road a ways, but then eventually things are going to start to happen, because you're puncturing your aura, and most people are not aware of this. Besides, the entities will tap line you in the astral plane. The reptilians and the entities, a lot of tap lining going on today, which most people are not aware of, because in their minds they don't believe it's so. Well, just because you don't believe something does not make it so. Again, belief is a whim. It's what it is, and it's a marketing ploy by the religious and spiritual systems, thinking that this is going to get you somewhere, or praying and worshiping to gods that don't exist. Okay, good luck on that one. The end result is that the world is still getting worse, no matter how much love and praying and worshiping people put into it. It's still getting worse. So astral projection is right there too. It's dealing with cause and effect, and again, it's a valid experience. Yes, so we do enjoy those hamburger joints. Oh, they taste good. They're wonderful. We feel good about it. But the end result is, most people are on pharmaceuticals and, oxygen tanks and whatever. Eventually, they don't see that it all catches up to you. We're all basically going to go there anyhow, simply because of what is taking place. There's a huge demise that is going on the planet anyhow that we have to deal with. We have to deal with things every day. But for the most part, when a person starts doing the new you, all of that stops. The boys come in, the real guides come in, and they start to set the individual's, inner bodies up so that they are not affected by these aberrations anymore. So I've seen people that to where when the real guides come in, they actually cannot do astral projection anymore like they used to. So it's actually a help, but they think it's a hindrance. But actually what it is that there is a bigger focus involved. And so this is what creation is all about. This is why we're here, to eventually learn to recognize the all is so we can supersede creation. Otherwise, you can have as many thrills as you want here. Astral projection is a great thrill. It really is. Lucid dreaming is wonderful. It's great to be able to do all these things. And that's part of it too. But as you do it with your real awareness, instead of projecting the body, then you're okay, and then you have the real guidance. So it's just simply a choice that people make. But yes, thank you so much, Kelsey, because it's very real. And the individual can prove this to themselves. All they have to do is, when they project out of the body, simply take a look around, just looking back at yourself, and you'll see the silver cord. You'll be able to feel the silver cord there. And yes, it's fragile too. It's a very fragile cord. And if that is broken, then the individual is many times trapped in the astral realm, and they don't know where they're at. So, and a little panic can set in there. And so, things do happen. Yes, thank you for asking that.
Thank you.
Was there a follow-up, Kelsey? Or are you all set?
It's interesting that, Duane, you brought up that there's actually cords to everybody, and those could be cut too if you don't have the real guidance in the new you. And then the channeling sounds like another aspect of this tap lining that is taking place, like the automatic writing. That's it for me, and Val does have a question too.
Okay, real fast, I'll answer that. And yes, channeling is a good one. In my early days, I went through many things and met many people and was with certain groups and channeling. And channeling is fun. You hear this and people allow other individuals, or we call them entities, whatever, but there are other people off the astral realm come into their aura, and that's very dangerous too, because you're getting certain information, but after a while you wake up to what's really going on. It sounds good, but it's really possessive. It's really being possessed. And so, channeling seems really cool, and people will say, well, I'm channeling this saint or that saint or whatever. Really doesn't matter. You're possessed. And the thing is that, and the information can be good. It can sound really nice. It can sound really sweet. But really, it's really to keep you here into human farming. So you're just really a nice person, and you just get along with the systems that control you so that you're just one of the cattle, and you keep coming back here, you see. And that's what the religions and the political system are all about, yes. Okay, so next question, Val?
Hello. Is regards to universal positioning, individuality and uniqueness of the free being of light, is that mainly as it comes into creation, or in the real universes, is it have to do more with what is seen, or the contribution that the being is making? But the idea of the uniqueness, or some people think that, or believe that, well, God created, you as a unique being, but then there's a view that, well, that's what I'm asking, is like, how is this uniqueness played out in the real universes? Does it exist? Is it depending on what we do, contribute, or what we see? If it's just a view in the real universes, is it just like, every being sees a different view or portion of the real universes?
Well, again, there's several questions there, so we want to take one at a time. But this idea that God created us, this is a fun idea. And really, when you step back and look at things, That sounds cute, doesn't it? It sounds warm and cozy. Oh, God created you, you're a unique being, etc. That does sound really good. But then as we step back and look at everything, if this God did create everything, let's just pretend that he did or it did or whatever. Let's look at all the mistakes that God created. What about that? Nobody talks about that. There's a lot of mistakes going on, isn't there? Yeah, and then who's going to clean up this mess? Is that what the Son of God does? He's going to come back and fix everything? Is that the idea? So God creates people to make messes, and then the Son of God comes back and cleans it all up. So again, if people want to go along with that idea, it's like supposedly what Jesus said, supposedly in the Bible that was written by people on earth, actually the reptilians, whatsoever man believeth, so be it. So if that's what you want to believe, go for it. That's why it was put in the Bible, so that you would believe that and keep coming back here unconsciously as a subject and just stay in the matrix, you see? So go for it. I'm not trying to talk anybody out of anything. I'm just saying that there is a way out of cause and effect creation. And so, this idea that the gods created us, so really that would mean that we're robotized, and that our fate is held in the hands of the gods or the God or whatever people's idea of God is, because people can say they know God, but they don't really know where their God is. Well, they can say, well, gee, God is everywhere. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, God is everywhere. Okay, and there's as you look at the planet today, especially today, and what's going on, and when you go in outer space, it's all black, and it's a lot of rocks in outer space, just a lot of rocks. Okay, is this how it's supposed to be? And what's taking place on the planet today, there's a lot of mistakes, isn't there, that have been made. And so is this also part of that? Is it our destiny because God created the person, and then all of a sudden there's to be a lot of mistakes, and that people are to be here subject to the good and bad ideas of God or the gods? Okay, I'm fine with that, but it has nothing to do with me, because I have my own real experiences in the real universes, and has nothing to do with me. That's in creation. And so if people want to subject themselves and be tap-lined and controlled by that idea, they can have it. Go for it. It's yours. It's all yours. You can have it for as long as you want. Or you can totally be free and indifferent to it. All a person has to do is, just for the fun of it, to stand outside. This is an objective view, all right? And you can do this subjective too, and then just look at the sky as an example, which is really an atmosphere here. It's not a real sky. In the real universes, those are real skies because they're endless. This is just an atmosphere you're looking at. And it looks like a sky because at night you see what's out there. It's a blackness. We're in a black hole here. That's what the physical realm is. It's a black hole full of rocks or round worlds. And the sun, it's not the real light. It's just a rock on fire. We're in the lowest part of life, you might say, the lowest part of creation, yes. And so I just give people a little idea, something to do, and that is just look at the sun, but I don't mean stare into the sun till you're blind. That's not the idea. But just look at the sun and just use your imagination, because that does exist in creation. It supersedes your mind. And just simply allow all these ideas that you've ever known to just kind of step aside like books on a shelf. And just kind of be for the moment. And just kind of take a look at what's really going on. You can always pull those books back and all the little bumper stickers and ideas that you've come up with, but just set them all aside. And you'll see that life is already is an isness. It's always a nowness. It's an isness. And there's something there to recognize. But what is it? How do you recognize it? Well, with the new you start to recognize it, because the isness life is, the wholeness life is, the all-aliveness life is, has decided the new you now. It decided it, not me. I didn't decide it. Okay, I was shown this by the real guides from the real universes, and not by some angel or some saint or savior that's still in creation off the astral or the mental worlds with the gods of man. No, these people do not have the bigger view. Their views are cute, they're nice, they're sweet, they've got the pretty words, it all sounds poetic, it's all very seductive. Have fun with it. Okay, that's your choice. Nothing is negated. If that's what you want, go for it. You know, it's kind of like eating ice cream all day. If that's what you want, go for it. The end result will be what it is. May not be too good for you. Yes, this is where people have diabetes. Yes, but the ice cream does taste good, doesn't it? Yeah, and all those pretty words and those nice things and those political speeches, they all sound really good, don't they? But where do they lead? The planet is getting worse. As an example, everything is demonstrated. All deception shows up. It really does. And it's showing up. Is it working? No, it's not. None of it's working. People are still waiting for Jesus after 2,000 years. They're still believing he's going to come. Marketing ploy. People love marketing ploy. People love deception. People love sensationalism. Where does it lead? More lifetimes. So have your hamburgers, have your ice cream, have your gods, whatever. You just keep coming back and recirculating here. The real universes, there's a greater adventure that's awaiting.